Dear my lovely wife Cindy, I finally heard that you have moved on and are now living a happy life. I just want to wish you a healthy marriage with your new husband. We have been working so hard for the kids and saving a lot of money for their future and our retirement. It is sad to know that I'm not going to be the one who grows old with you and watches our kids grow up. But I'm not mad at you at all. It's my fault, and I shouldn't cheat on you with someone. At least now I know, someone that is not human. I have a loving wife with 3 kids. My life was perfect and we were the happiest family that you'll ever think of. We are devoted parents. My wife works during the day, while I work at night. Every time I came home late at night, my wife would stay up and cook for me when I got home. Even if she works early in the morning, she'll always stay up and wait for me, then make something for me to eat before going to sleep. When I have a bad day at work, thinking of her will make every bad thought go away. It was the year 2003, and my wife complained that our car was making a strange noise from the engine. So we took it to the shop to have it fixed, and the mechanic told us that it would take up to a week. While our car was still in the shop, my wife would carpool with her coworker, and I would take the bus to work. I waited for the bus one night after I got home from work. Because it was late at night, I was always alone at the bus stop. While I was sitting and waiting at the bus stop, I suddenly felt this cold breeze blow right at my face. Then I looked to my right and there was a young woman. She was wearing a red shirt and black jeans. She suddenly sat next to me and said, "Hi, it's a beautiful night." Then I shook my head and said, "Yes, it is." She looked at me with a cute smile, and I realized she was very pretty and had nice sparkly eyes. I asked her why she was still up this late at night, and she said she enjoyed walking at night because of the weather being calm. We both got on the bus together, and she got off at the stop before me. The next day, after getting off work, I walked to the bus stop, and there she was again, sitting on the bench. I approached her, and she smiled at me before nodding, and said, "Hi, it's you again." This time she's wearing a short skirt and a shirt that shows half of her breasts. She then suddenly held my arms and put her head on my shoulder. I tried to push her away and said that I'm a married man, but she said it's okay to be friends and continued to hold my arms tight. She then climbed up to me and started to French kiss my lips. Her beauty makes me fall in love with her. Then we have sex behind the bushes near the bus stop. When I got home, I saw my wife waiting for me in the kitchen, cooking something for me to eat. I felt really bad about myself for cheating on her. I walked over to her and hugged her. The next day, after work, the mystery woman and I went to a nearby hotel to sleep together. It felt really weird when we had sex. I felt like I was dreaming but was still wide awake. It kind of felt like when you have sleep paralysis, but can still move. After a week, my car was finally fixed and I got back from the shop. I would always go and pick her up at the bus stop. She will never show where she lives and said that her parents are very strict about her having a boyfriend. Our love was becoming stronger, and my wife started to notice that my personality was different and I no longer had an interest in her anymore. We would always argue and our kids would cry around the house. This one time, I went to the shower and my wife went through my phone and saw a picture of me and my girlfriend in the hotel. When I got out of the shower, she cried and hit me on the shoulder and said the reason why I had changed was because I was dating a very old lady, and she showed me the picture on my phone. I looked at the photo and it was me and my girlfriend, but it's not the same young beautiful lady that I met. It's an old mom, as old as a grandma. I was shocked and didn't know how or what to say to my wife. I grabbed my wallet and keys and got to the car. I drove to the bus stop to find my girlfriend, but she was nowhere to be found. I slept inside my car until late at night and waited for her. I was sleeping inside my car when I suddenly heard a knock on my window and saw that it was my girlfriend. It made me very happy to see her as I opened the door to kiss her. We went to the hotel, and she asked if I wanted to go stay with her. And I agreed, because every time I see my wife, we always argue and fight, and my girlfriend seems to be the one who always makes me happy. So I agreed to go and live with her. The last night that I went to my home, I saw my wife crying as I went into our room and started to pack my things. My wife hugged me and dropped to her knees and begged me not to leave. I slowly moved her away from me, and all my kids came and held me, blocking the door and wouldn't let me leave. I couldn't say anything to them as tears were falling down from my eyes. I turned back to look at my wife, and she was still crying, looking down on the ground crying. In a sob, I told my eldest son to watch over his mother and look after his two younger sisters. As I was slowly pushing them all away from the door, everyone in the house was crying, including me. Is this the right path for me? I wondered as I got into my car. But when I think of my girlfriend, it just starts to brighten my heart. I started my car and drove off, taking a look back to see everything that I was about to leave behind, and noticing that my little family was outside the front door standing and watching me leave. I was confused and wondered to myself why I was so deeply in love with her. It felt like she put a spell on me or something. I picked her up at the same bus stop, and she got on with the most beautiful smile on her face, and everything about her was just like a dream come true. I told her that I had finally done it and would never return to my family. She hugged me and said thank you. I asked her where we were going, and she said she had a house in the mountains where we could live happily without bothering anyone. I was so happy to go with her. The drive to her house was a long one through the forest and an abandoned road. It takes us 9 hours to get to her house. When we got there, the house was old and broken. To me, it looked like a haunted house. We unpacked our stuff and she told me to not worry about the broken house because me and her would be slowly fixing it up. This is perfect, I nodded, telling her we could start our own family here. As I was cleaning the house up, my beautiful girlfriend told me that she was going to grab some wood for us so she could cook something. I was cleaning the house and looking from afar at my girlfriend, and she looked like a very old lady with a hunched back. But as she gets closer, she'll look beautiful again. When I got off the shower, she told me to come and eat. As I walked to her, I saw her eating some live worms. I puked and slammed the worm-filled plate to the ground. I told her what the heck she was doing. She cried and said that why wouldn't I eat her food? I was speechless and dumbfounded as I looked at the broken plates and live worms on the ground. We argued a bit and went to sleep. In our room, there was no electricity, so I light up a candle in the room for a little night light. Every time I turn to look at her, she appears to be much older, with wrinkly hands and not the same lady I knew. In the morning, I noticed her face starting to show some signs of wrinkling and she looked a little older, but I just shrugged it off and continued fixing up the house. As the days go by, she gets older and older each day. I asked her why she ages so fast, and she replied that this is how she has looked all alone ever since she met me. I have a feeling she is no longer a human because she refuses to eat anything I cook, and instead prefers to eat the live worms she digs with the shovel. A month have passed, and she now looks like a 70-year-old grandma. I was trying to leave her late at night while she slept. I came back to the same wooden house after stepping on the gas all the way out of that place and driving for 30 minutes. She got out of the house with a candle in her hand and a hunchback. She asked me if I was trying to leave her. I dropped to my knees and begged her that we weren't meant to be together and I wanted to leave now. She told me, in an old voice, yelling at me that I could never leave this place because I had already agreed to live with her forever. She slowly walked inside the house with a hunchback. I got to my car again and sped off. 30 minutes later, I got to the same spot. I realized that no matter how hard I tried, I could never leave this place. I entered the house and went to the room, where I found my very old girlfriend sputtering on the bed. She got up and cried to me that she thought I was the one and never thought that I would ever leave her. She then said that if I wanted to leave so much, then please sleep a night with her one last time, and I could go tomorrow morning. She hugged me to sleep with heavy breathing. It seemed like she was having a hard time breathing because she is a very old lady now. Morning had come, and I woke up to an empty bed. She was nowhere to be found. I ran to my car and sped off. On the exit out of the property, I saw her sitting on a log, looking very old, waving at me and crying. I stepped hard on the gas, then over, and it took me a long time to get out of that forest. When I got to the city, I went to a friend's house, and he was very surprised to see me. And, to my horror, he informed me that I had been missing for 10 years with my girlfriend. My heart dropped and I was confused because I had only gone a month with my girlfriend. My friend then told me that my wife had waited 4 years for me to come back, but she lost hope and remarried, and she already had 4 kids with her new husband. I was sad but just happy for her. The last time I saw her was when I went to her house, the house that we worked so hard for. I peeked in the window and saw my lovely ex-wife with the same beautiful face. Even though 10 years had passed, she was still the same beautiful wife that had loved me no matter what. As I walked back to my car in tears, I saw a boy coming out of the house to water the grass. He looked at me and I realized it was my son, and he's now an adult. I drove away and cried so loudly. It's the biggest mistake that I made, and I will never forgive myself for leaving my family like this. And this is a true story that happened to me. Please do not make the same mistake that I made. Please do not fall in love with a beautiful woman at the bus stop.